Our last presenter for this session is Mr. Christos ZOUKOS. Mr. ZOUKOS is consultant at Boston Consulting Group, focused on technology mergers and acquisitions, with a passion for artificial intelligence and particularly generative AI, bachelor in computer engineering, New York University, and a master's degree in business analytics, Imperial College of London.
Hello everyone, I'm Christos, and first of all I would like to thank the ASHRAE Hellenic chapter for inviting me. This talk is meant to be a bit easier compared to the other ones, and it's mainly about introducing the field of AI when it comes to construction. I mean, especially with the meteoric rise of ChatGPT, as you probably all know it and use it. And it's about assessing the impact of AI to the industry, as well as the benefits, as well as the challenges of AI in the construction industry. Before we start, just about introducing AI as a definition. And basically, AI is simulating human intelligence onto machines. And basically, we're trying to emulate the way humans think into AI on its own. Now, AI works by essentially combining three components. First of all is machine learning, where you have a system that learns from data and trying to make predictions based on the previous data, which is essentially statistics. Next, we have deep learning, which is basically having neural networks that try to emulate how the human brain works into creating, generating results. And lastly, we have natural language processing, which is basically a computer trying to understand human language and basically generating results based on human language, which is exactly how ChatGPT and other large language models operate, which is something you probably see if you use ChatGPT or a similar model. Now, AI on its own has multiple use cases in construction, especially in project management, quality, and safety. And for example, with machine learning, it's very easy for you to predict budgets, timelines, and then potential issues during the construction process. Now, with other technologies like computer vision, you're able to monitor the site conditions as well as safety and quality. And with natural language processing, it can help you analyze documents for quality as well as for compliance reasons, etc. And as we're going to see later, also make their lives easier, especially dodging all these admin tasks that all of us hate. Finally, we have robotic process automation, where basically you can use robots to automate parts of the construction process. Now, how AI can transform today's construction sites? There's actually multiple use cases for AI, and they're going to be growing year by year as the AI industry is growing. And for example, one of them is predictive analytics, where basically it can help you forecast potential delays or budget constraints during the whole process lifecycle. Or another use case that's being used quite frequently right now is when you have drones and computer vision, essentially for site inspection. And now, one of my favorite ones, especially documentation management, where basically you can heavily decrease the time it takes to review documents or different admin tasks, that especially for most of us can be particularly annoying and time-consuming. So it can help you automate all these parts. And obviously, one of the most important use cases is risk management and safety monitoring, basically allowing you to improve the safety for all of the staff during the construction, as well as monitoring quality. Now, as far as project management is concerned, there's three key benefits that AI can introduce. The first one is predictive analytics for timelines, which basically you can use previous data and the whole project lifecycle to potentially identify potential delays early. Then you have smart scheduling, especially knowing how to assign different works within a construction site to reduce potential interruptions between different crews working in the same site. And then obviously financial oversight, being able to track expenses and costs in real time to avoid any budget issues or basically going over budget. As far as safety and compliance, essentially you can use it in many different aspects. One of them is real-time hazard detection. So you can use cameras, drones, or different analytics to track any potential incidents or safety issues live. Using predictive maintenance to essentially ensure the site is maintained properly and reduce accidents. And finally, automated compliance checks. As far as quality assurance is concerned, which is I think another of the key, by using AI, you can understand, you can basically see, identify defects, and then use insights and monitoring to ensure that the quality during the whole life cycle of the construction is maintained. Now, another key issue with AI and robotics in particular is, especially right now in the West, is you have a lot of issues with labor shortage. Now, with robotics and AI, you can achieve an increased productivity to basically optimize the amount of labor workers used and reduce the needs for staff, which is critical, and at the same time, ensure and reduce the physical strain on the labor workers. Now, one of the key aspects of AI and what it can bring is sustainability. Not only will it help you reduce potential materials used and optimize your orders, it can also help you with energy management and environmental tracking. And the benefits are not just about sustainability, but it's also about cutting down costs and ensuring you use your resources more effectively. And this was a very interesting research I actually found from Autodesk, that basically with AI, it had the potential to reduce project costs by up to 20%. Just keep in mind, I will keep these values, I will not, at the moment as AI is growing, I think these values are subject to change and even be quite more optimized in the future, but I think there's a lot of potential to use on a construction site. And this is just a few examples of designing and bidding process, reducing admin processes, and obviously maintaining your supply chain. Now, obviously, AI can give you tremendous opportunity, but it also has a lot of risks. And these risks include data privacy, basically what type of data you use, basically across your entire processes. It's very expensive, so setting up AI can be very, very expensive, especially right now with the high cost of GPUs. Potential resistance from your workforce, and especially the question all of us have, is AI going to take over my job? And lastly, data bias. AI is fantastic, but it's not always perfect, and it's something you can see also with ChatGPT. Sometimes it's very random results, so you always have to double check the results. So it's very important not to introduce any bias to any sort of LLM. But obviously, these challenges can be addressed, and these are the first one is for data privacy. It's very important to make sure whatever you do using AI, you obey the data protection laws. As far as high cost is concerned, I think it's very critical to introduce AI incrementally in your business, not just make everything AI operated, but use it slowly, test it, and then if it works well for you, use it and then expand its use cases. And as far as worker resistance is concerned, the one solution would be to upskill workers by essentially training them into different tools that are planning to be used and make sure they can use, for example, the robots, when you have automatic bricklaying or 3D printing buildings, for example. Make sure your workers are trained to do that and avoid having, basically losing the jobs. Or even for me, I'm probably going to lose my job to an AI at one point. And lastly, it's data bias. You always should double check the output it gives you to make sure it's correct and it's not biased by any point. And this is something you can see with ChatGPT. If you use it often, it happens all the time, especially based on the input you give. But AI has a lot of future, and especially in the construction industry. Even though it's a more traditional industry, I believe that it's a technology that will be seen more frequently. And I think these are just some 3 key points I want to include, mainly on the near-term future. Things are going to be seen very soon into the business. First of all, it's enhanced collaboration, and it's the whole productivity boost that we discussed earlier. Then we have digital twins, which is basically having more advanced digital models of a construction site that could even be live. You can see very clearly the whole construction process on a 3D model and find defects, identify issues very, very quickly. And lastly, safety innovations, which I think is critical, essentially with different wearable devices on workers, ensuring you monitor the health and identifying any incidents very, very quickly. For example, with an Apple Watch, you can detect instantly if someone has a fall. And these are key technologies that could be adapted for the construction industry to ensure the maintenance of workers. And I think this is something that's going to grow very, very quickly to ensure the safety, essentially for the labor force and everyone. But these are mainly I think that as AI grows, there's going to be way more innovations than these ones. And these are just the short-term innovations I believe I'm going to see very, very soon in the business. And I think this is it from my end. Thank you. Happy to answer your questions.